G'day everybody, well on to part 2 of Honda generator troubleshooting. Thank you to Cap10323 who suggested looking at the Carbie and cleaning it out, because that's actually what we're going to do today. We're going to get the oil air filter off and clean that out. Not that it really needs cleaning, but we'll just go over it anyway. And also give this Carbie a soak in some fresh petrol and just see if that makes any difference. There's a bit of surface dust sitting on top of it, but there's nothing actually inside it. And when I did get the air cleaner off, it looked pretty clean. But anyway, let's get into it. Well, there's the air cleaner off. It's awful dirty on top, but it's actually pretty good inside. There's not much dirt and stuff built up on the element. I'll take this bottom oil tray off and also replace the oil. Got a bit of just car motor oil, that should do it fine, but it's definitely up to the level and everything, which is the good signs. But like I said, this thing's hardly been used much. As you could tell by the inside of the cylinder, it was pretty spotless. But yeah, it's our choke. Let's choke on, lets only a little bit of air in, slows down the engine so you get less airflow and more fuel, makes it burn a bit richer. But it's very dry in there. There's not a lot of oil, or it doesn't even feel like there's fuel getting down into it, because these things take the fuel in and then they vaporize it in there and mix it with the air, which is what this is for, to clean the air that goes in, and then that mixture then goes into our cylinder head, or yeah, cylinder chamber. But get that hose off, that's the main fuel line, and take the Carbie off. There's 2 bolts holding it on, one there and one up the top there, which might be a bit of trouble. May have to take the muffler off, but we can do that. At the moment, I'll do anything just to get this damn thing running. I've put enough time into it, so I'm definitely not going to stop now. It's just a quick look at the element, which is perfectly clean. I've pulled it out and it's all good. There's also the bottom part that just goes on like so. Those little tabs there bend back in to hold it down. The oil's also, like I said, pretty clean. There's only a couple of little specks in there, but I'll replace that anyway, just as part of general maintenance. This is the Carbie off, long last. I had to actually take the muffler off as well in order to get it off, but it came off in the end. It's definitely going to need to soak those in. These tubes are actually dry inside. There's no fuel. It doesn't appear to be any fuel getting down it. It may just be it's all evaporated, but it's definitely going to need a clean up. So next step's just to get this in a can full of petrol and just leave it overnight and come back to it tomorrow. Okay, got the Carbie in some petrol. It's not all the way submerged, it doesn't really need to be. The important part is the inlet tube that goes all the way through. It's completely under, so that's mainly what I intended on doing, just to get some fuel into there to clean out any old fuel and also any rubbish that could be built up in it. But yeah, interestingly, it's actually the same colour fuel as the old stuff. So yeah, I'll just leave that overnight. I'll put the Glad wrap on it just to stop it evaporating, try and at least contain some of this, because I can actually filter this petrol out and stick it back in the can after I'm done with the clean out. But anyway, let's leave this thing overnight and come back to it later on. Okay, we're on to day 2 of the Carbie cleanup. I've had this thing soaking overnight in petrol. I ended up just having to take it out in the morning because the petrol started to warp the plastic tub, and I didn't want that to end up melting through and end up getting petrol all over the table and all over the floor and creating a fire hazard. So it's a lot of the surface stuff has evaporated off, but there's still a ton of it down the actual intake tube, which is the good thing, because it means that there should at least be some vapor able to get through into the cylinder, which is actually what I'm after. So yeah, let's get this thing back on the engine, put the air filter back on, and give it a test run. There's not really much more else I can do with this. There we go, there's Carbie back on. There's 2 bolts, one there and one up the top there, and it just, yeah, goes straight through. There's still plenty of, like I said before, there's still plenty of fuel on it, so I'm gonna mainly keep that shut most of the time until I get to run it. But I'll just get the fuel hose and throttle cable linkage all back on and put the muffler back on. It should be ready to go. Muffler's back on. Well guys, we're all back together, and the satisfying thing is we now have a working motor. This thing comes to life and works really well. I'll give it a demo. Let's first get a high enough platform so I can sit the camera down so you can see it all. Pop it there. Well worth all of the effort. I'm very pleased with that. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for a ton of tests on this thing. I want to see if I can power up a television next. Thanks for watching guys, and thanks for all the help.